Thank you for keeping it tuned in to the Sports Cubicle here on WCPT 820 AM, HeartlandSignal.com, WSBC 1240 AM, Chicago, and on YouTube at the Sports Cubicle. I'm your host, Mike Mercado, and still hanging out with me here in the studio is our brother from Cubs on Tap, Cubby's Crib, and the mothership at HeartlandSignal.com is Rich Eberwein. Make sure you guys are following him all over the socials. He is going to be covering the entire offseason for the Chicago Cubs and Major League Baseball like a blanket. But it's not just contracts and trades and releases and hires and fires. They're the biggest story this offseason for Major League Baseball. It's two key phrases: collective bargaining and television. More importantly, media rights. And this story comes to us from The Athletic, from Andrew Marchand. MLB lands new media deals with NBC, Netflix, and ESPN as league restructures TV future. Major League Baseball announced its new TV deals with NBC, Netflix, and ESPN on Wednesday, restructuring its broadcast future. The new agreements will give ESPN rights to out-of-market games for all 30 teams and 6 in-market clubs. NBC Peacock will become the new home of the first round of the playoffs and Sunday Night Baseball, while Netflix will showcase the standalone opening day game in prime time, the Home Run Derby, and the Field of Dreams games. The 3-year agreements were a direct result of ESPN opting out of the final 3 seasons of its contract in February. ESPN was due to pay around $1.65 billion over the next 3 seasons, but wanted to restructure its agreements, including Sunday Night Baseball, the first round of the playoffs, and the Home Run Derby. After the opt-out, there was an acrimonious period in which MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred called ESPN a, quote, shrinking platform in a memo to team owners. Then a long period of negotiations led to the announcement of deals that would begin in about 4 months. Sources briefed on the agreement said that NBC Peacock is expected to pay nearly $200 million per year, while Netflix will dole out $50 million per season. MLB will receive almost $750 million per year in total over the next 3 seasons. And read the entire article over at The Athletic. MLB lands new media deals with NBC, Netflix, and ESPN as league restructures TV future by Andrew Marchand. And, it's interesting that they are rushing to get these deals done, Rich, because we talked about it in the last segment about contract CBA looming. These players are trying to get their everything in order. So are the owners. So are the media companies. There is this looming lockout that's going to happen. And you can see that they're signing 3-year deals, 3-year extensions. So it gets them through 1 season in 2026. Mm-hmm. You have, theoretically, the lockout season, and then you come back with
still a deal on the table.
So when you see these deals initially, as somebody who consumes not just baseball, all sports, all different forms of entertainment, what do you think about the new restructuring? First of all, NBC Peacock now having all major primetime Sunday editions of Major League Baseball, NFL, and NBA. Mm-hmm. Netflix really going all in on the spectacle, and ESPN almost doing the regional thing, the small market thing. What did you think when you heard about this deal?
My initial reaction is like, what is good for baseball, right? And I think the Netflix stuff particularly interests me. I think that can bring, a lot of the more fun aspects of baseball to a general and broader audience, like the Home Run Derby. That's something that every baseball fan loves watching, but that's also something that I feel like, a lot of quote-unquote normies could get into as well. I think it's just kind of, widening the net a little bit on that front. And then you're also getting the Field of Dreams game, which is, nostalgic and cool or whatever. And also the big thing there is Netflix will be doing the World Baseball Classic. I think that is also very interesting. Just making it easier to access those games for, again, a wide audience, I think is pretty good. As for NBC getting, the wild card round of the playoffs and, the primetime games on Sunday, I think, we just talked about this a little bit off the air, but it's like everything's kind of moving towards streaming a little bit, instead of regional markets. It's like, I guess, in the regional cloud atmosphere of streaming services is kind of like the new thing emerging. I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of the lay of the land now. It's deals that need to be struck to reach the audiences and make it easier to access. because I think everybody's a little bit tired of like the blackouts and the regional sports network stuff. Because there's also just a less amount of people with cable packages. It's all on streaming now, so I think this is just kind of like where it's going, and I think it's kind of a good thing that baseball is following that, because otherwise it would go the way of the dodo, then nobody would watch baseball, and I want as much people to watch baseball as possible. So
when it is a sport, it is a league more specifically, not a sport. The sport of baseball isn't to blame. The league, Major League Baseball, is so slow to conform or to adapt, and this is one of those cases where like finally you got up. ESPN is not what it used to be. None of these places are.
It's good to see that they know streaming services
exist. Yeah, like it's good to see that like they're not completely. They are the one league, and like hockey kind of gets this black eye too, but they're one of the leagues that loves to keep its game from people. Mm-hmm. They love to like exclude its own fan base. And if you watch what the NFL and NBA do, they are going to get every dollar they can, and they will get every dollar out of the consumer. Yeah. But they also will make it available for the consumer. You will be able to watch ABC basketball, NBC basketball. Like, it is there for you.
And let me preface this, too. Like, the other side of this coin is, like, so there's the availability, like, which streaming makes it more available. We also need to make it, work well.
Yes.
Because there was those concerns with, like, the Mike Tyson fight when Netflix was just, like, absolutely
garbage,
unwatchable. Like, I, from what I hear, it's gotten better when they've done other live stuff like that. So, like, just making sure that they can handle it.
Yeah.
The sheer amount of volume of streamers that would be watching events like this, which I would assume a lot of people would be watching the Home Run Derby and the World Baseball Classic on Netflix, make sure that it's not only accessible, but good quality.
Yeah, and if you look at, what other media companies have done really well, and I'll even call them out specifically. What Amazon and NBC have done with the NBA, making it look so good, making it look big time, promoting it right in front of your face whenever you hit their app. That's what I want to see from Netflix. When I go on Netflix on Thanksgiving or on Christmas or any of these days, I know my NFL logo is going to be up there. I can click on it. Yeah. I know on Monday, they're going to be promoting Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
I want Home Run Derby, World Baseball Classic, whatever it is.
Right at the top.
Right at the very top.
For the normies.
For the normies. Because if anything, it's just, I can watch this now.
Yeah.
Now it's right there. I mean, that's part of it too, is when you realize the benefit of something you're already paying money for is accessible to Netflix is accessible to so many people. So like to have that exposure is huge, and you hope it eventually leads for every 10 people, it leads one person to NBC, then that leads back to Netflix. And I think it's only good for baseball. Like, it's such an international sport too.
Yeah. Especially now with Ohtani, and all these Japanese players coming over. Like, the World Baseball Classic, I feel like is going to be as popular as ever, and I'm going to be glued to watching every single game. It's exciting. It's great for the game, I think. Just, getting as many young people as possible too interested in baseball, which they've been doing on the game side by making with the pitch clock and stuff, and making it, more accessible for our goldfish brains in the social media era. So, this is kind of the other side of that coin and moving in that direction.
And to kind of put a bow on this, the big thing that is unspoken, but it is the elephant in the room, is the length of these agreements.
Yeah.
The length of these agreements tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
They tell you everything you need to know about what media companies, what the league, and what the PA is thinking.
Yeah.
A lockout is coming, folks.
Yeah.
We will enjoy this offseason. We will hope for a Cubs World Series here in Chicago in 26. But I know you're going to be covering it a lot. I know the websites are going to cover it a lot. We're going to be keeping our eye on here. But the main reason is not just where you're going to be able to watch these games, how cool it is that they're going to be accessible. I could watch Monday Night Raw and the Home Run Derby on the same. It's the idea that they just told us this is how much time we think these deals should be worth.
Yeah.
So listen and follow the money.
Yeah.
Rich, any final thoughts, buddy?
I just hope that the lockout doesn't last like an entire season. I hope we get somewhere close to a full season's worth of games in 2027. But, fingers crossed, folks. But in the meantime, we have an exciting offseason coming up and a lot of exciting free agents, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, around July, we'll do an entire round. July of 26, God willing, we'll do an entire round table because we'll know midsummer
Yeah.
what the vibes are heading into it, and we'll have an idea if this is going to be a long lockout or if it's going to be something that kind of only takes April and May away. But until then, we know we're going to have baseball next season, and now we know what channels they'll be on. Richie Brewine, you're always the best, brother. Thank you for sticking around for another segment. Check out all his work over at Cubs on Tap, Cubby's Crib, and the Mothership over at Heartland Signal. Thank you, brother.
Go Cubs, go, baby.
Go Cubs, go. And go right back to the Sports Cubicle. We're going to head right back to Paulie and Devin and Marver for an additional busy episode of the Sports Cubicle. It never ends with the holiday season here. Make sure you guys are following us everywhere. We're here on WCPT 820 AM, HeartlandSignal.com, WSBC 1240 AM, Chicago, and on YouTube at the Sports Cubicle. I'm your host, Mike Mercado.